don't see no prices no more, bro. Wait till Immutable X. I'm about to summon it real quick. Wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. I'm on Immutable X. We on Immutable X. I get the racks in the race. I get the racks in the race. Open say we got the race. I'm on Immutable X. Now we get into the race. Now we get into the race. We've been waiting since May. Now we in September. Only OGs. Remember? Yeah, we got keys. Straight to open sea. Now we spinning E. On some NFTs. Wait is long for a minute. Paper hands, it might just ruin you. We know what that money could do for you. That overseas bridge and wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. Wait till Immutable X. I'm on Immutable X. We on Immutable X. I get the racks in the race. I get the racks in the race. Overseas we got the race. I'm on Immutable X. Now we get into the race. Now we get into the race. We've been waiting since May. Now we in September.
It's been a minute.
Now we in September. Now we in September. Now we in September. Now we in September.
Animate this, cartoon it. Had to jump on, yeah, part 2 it. On the block, they gon' bring that music. I am X, but not Mark Houston. New flex, just part 2 whips. New check, overseas boosting. Got dudes from overseas moving. Tuned in, wait till I flip a few sets. They tryna hop on the decks. They tryna FOMO in next. OGs.
Welcome to the stream, Omi Homies and Omets, and in this one we'll be talking about Immutable X and some news about GameStop NFT marketplace. It looks like NFT or the GameStop NFT marketplace is getting shut down, or at least they're rolling it back. So we're going to dive into a little bit about that, how it can affect Immutable X. I've been putting out some Immutable X content lately, and we'll dive into why I think Immutable X will be just fine. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right in. All right. So first things first, be sure to sub if you want to, catch more streams like this. Also, we do have some other news here, so I'll get to all of that. We actually have quite a bit to go through, so let me start off with the GameStop news. So GameStop rolling back crypto and NFTs after losing millions, reportedly here. So I have no idea what these ads are, by the way. Looks like some kind of ad here. I'm going to click that off. But yeah, it says here in the recent earnings call, CEO Matt Furlong said that the company will not risk meaningful stockholder capital in this space, talking about the Web3 or NFT space. It looks like they're going to get back to doing collectibles, selling games, and pre-owned products. So that's kind of their core business model. And collectibles make up like 1/5 of their entire revenue. So it's quite a bit. It's why I'm bullish long-term on the digital collectible space, aka platforms like Vivi, that are expanding upon not only the collectibles, but obviously the metaverse and how they're engine agnostic, and they will be on lots of different devices. So with that being said, this is some pretty breaking news here in terms of this. This came out actually on December 8th. So this is actually not breaking, but I think too, we have some like in terms of their marketplace. So if we take a look at this, you can see their marketplace. It's on Immutable X. Marketplaces are building on top of Immutable X. So they were kind of one of the key, most well-known marketplaces. Now, OpenSea was one of those marketplaces that definitely started from the ground up and was more of an organic thing. There's still investors in OpenSea. I get that, but from the most part, it wasn't name brand. So I don't think that Immutable X needs a GameStop, although it would be very cool if they can survive this and keep building in the Web3 space and the NFT space, because it's nostalgia. It's one of those OG brands, and then they can only help in this space. Now, if we move over to let's see, other projects that are still building on Immutable X. We're going to take a look at this guy, Ryan Carson. This guy is host of Daily Dose, which is like one of the bigger Web3 Twitter spaces and kind of shows in the Web3 space. Previously CEO of Proof COO of Proof and Moonbirds. So Moonbirds is one of the like top projects from 2022, and just to kind of show that, we can hop on over to one of the good day legends. What's going on, SoCal homie? We can hop on over to Nansen, and this was published back on September, but this is obviously, if you don't know, if you don't know what Nansen is one of the top NFT Web3 tools in the entire space. It's like the holiest grail of like analytics kind of in the Web3 space. That's, kind of behind a paywall, but they still do really good data and analytics and track a lot of different things. So Nansen, very reputable, says Nansen shares the top NFT projects of 2022, including Daisy, Azuki, Decentraland, Moonbirds, and more. So as you know, Moonbirds, one of the top projects in the Web3 space, as you can see here. It says the owls minted at 2.5 ETH. And they went up to all the way up to 16 plus ETH. I think at one point in time, it was literally insane how parabolic that collection went. It's since then, I believe, corrected, and they got off kind of to a rocky start, launching their second collection. But I think people are still pretty bullish on Moonbirds. I still see them out there, and I don't know what the value is nowadays, but they did pop off hardcore. And this guy is bringing his project to Immutable X, as you can see here. He says, that project y'all are stacking POAPs for just signed our first partner, Immutable LFG, and this guy has over 145,000 meaningful Web3 people following him in the space. I know quite a bit of people paying attention to what he's doing on a daily basis to get those POAPs so they can have a higher chance of minting his NFTs or his collection that he will drop most likely on Immutable X. So this is actually breaking news in terms of that. Let me know how my volume's coming in. Is my mic too loud? I just turned it down just a little bit so my mic doesn't sound too distorted, but let me know how that goes. What's going on? Jay Storm, what's going on? Yo, Mark Donovan, welcome in. Great work. Hope all is good. Thanks, says Steven Friedlander. Hey, appreciate you for hopping in. Thanks for all the channel members with the green tags and the green names in the chat, by the way. Only Power, what's up, guys? JStorm13 says, is Immutable dead? No, we're covering exactly that. We saw Immutable, or GameStop is rolling back crypto and NFTs after losing millions. So it does look like, I don't know if they'll continue to do their marketplace. It is already launched. I don't know what's going to happen. They're still tweeting. It looks like I saw a couple tweets from them not too long ago. But yeah, we're going to get into all of that. All right. So Immutable X, they have obviously tons of projects on here. So you have Kingwin, Blocklords, VV, Undead Blocks, Delicium, Green Park, and many others. You have Mintable, Habbo, Luvium, Ember Sword, Gods Unchained, V Friends, or V Books, or whatever it's called, and many others, including Tom Bilyeu. Tom Bilyeu is another huge influencer like Ryan Carson, who's even, has a bigger following, is also on Immutable X. So you can see here some of these top-notch games in the Web3 space, like Star Heroes, Oxia Origin, Deviant's Faction, Undead Blocks, Guild of Guardians, Planet Quest, Illuvium, Gods Unchained, Ember Sword, Elysium, E4, I'm not sure what this one is, E4, Final Salvation, WagMe Games, which I covered that one before, and many other games are coming to Immutable X. You can see some of them here, Cross the Ages, and Congregate, and many others. So with that being said, there's other marketplaces already that are quite successful on Immutable X. So it's not like we need GameStop NFT marketplace, although like I mentioned before, it would be nice. It would be cool. Nostalgia brand. Kind of sad to see them leave and to see them kind of roll back their support for, the Web3 NFT space. So in a nutshell, Token Trove is kind of the go-to place. It's always been the go-to place for Immutable X in terms of the marketplace. Not a well-known name. I do think Token Trove is going to solidify themselves now as the kind of premier marketplace for Immutable X now that GameStop NFT is kind of moving out of the way, so to speak, until there's maybe another big name that could step up. But really, they have a better marketplace than Immutable X themselves, and Immutable X never tried to have a great marketplace. It's just a default marketplace. So Token Trove is the place to go. Even Robbie, I believe, or some of the team members from Immutable X have mentioned before that they don't really care to have the best marketplace. They don't want to have the best marketplace when they're actually the tech stack or tech solution versus being an actual marketplace. So you have platforms like Token Trove, which are the go-to place, and you can browse through all the different collections on Token Trove, as you can see here. And you have quite a bit of projects on here. For example, Alluvium Land. Their sorting features are really good. So you can go here and kind of go to Abyssal Basin. And they actually had this before Alluvium did as well. So this was created on Token Trove. So you can literally see the map of Alluvium, which I thought was really super useful. So stuff projects don't even have themselves were already on Token Trove. That's why Token Trove is actually really great. You can check out other collections like, let's say, TikTok moments, which seem to be doing pretty good still, or decent in terms of the listings there. You can see a Mutaswap. You can see, different, projects here. They also have a referral program, which I think is really cool. You can see here that Token Trove referrals right there, that they, basically you can share out a referral link of your own NFTs and share that to social media, and you get some, I believe you get a portion, you get like a 50% of the taker fee. It is automatic and appears in your Immutable X account within minutes. So this is one of the few platforms that actually has a referral program that rewards its own users for simple things like this, which I find very useful as a content creator. And you can see like tons of different things here. Maybe this was my own orders, I don't know, but it does show I have some kind of totals here and referral bonus, so it's kind of nice. And you don't really see that on other platforms in the macro NFT space. There's a few, but they look like they're kind of MLM Ponzi's in a way. So I haven't seen any really good NFT marketplaces. So I think Token Trove is definitely the better option in terms of some of the marketplaces I've seen. All right. Now, there's still a lot coming to the NFT space despite crypto collapse. So it says VCs are still investing billions in blockchain gaming, and why this is going to, essentially why I'm going to tie this into Immutable X. It says here in 2022, VCs and angel investors invested over $3.4 billion in blockchain gaming space, including 534 million in October and November alone. This is surprising given the overall decline in not only the crypto and stock market, but also a steep decline in VC investments overall. So that's a pretty big number. So we are continuing to see more money continue to pour into the blockchain gaming space despite the crypto crash, which is very important. And you see people like Ryan Carson partnering up with Immutable when he has a pretty big following, pretty notable figure in the NFT space. I think that's vitally important that Immutable partners with influencers and content creators and things like that for the continued success of their platform. So this is pretty exciting news, in my opinion, to see more and more money. In other news, Activision Blizzard's president becomes Yuga Labs CEO. Here's the 101. Now, this is done by NFT Now. This article here, and it's a write-up. I haven't actually seen this or read this entire write-up just yet, but that's something you can definitely check out. But the big news here is that a former Activision Blizzard president becomes Yuga Labs CEO. That's obviously the big news, right? Because that shows that big projects like Basie are also bullish on Web3 gaming and the future for gaming. And I think it's going to spur or be a part of the next bull run when all these platforms are launching, and it could spark the next bull run, in my opinion. There's still a lot of runway in terms of these games needing to still be developed. So it's kind of like a patience approach here and how we could see this roll out. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Let me get to the chat here. Immutable still has Alluvium V plus so many more. Exactly. HRO, that's right. They do have HRO. Sound is fine, says SoCal. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. HRO is expanding all over the world now, so they look like they'll be solid project on there going forward. Omi Power, that sounds good. Good to see them doing that. I staked IMX for a while, but the rewards weren't great, especially in this environment. Yeah, I can't see. So I'm not necessarily bullish on token as much as I am ecosystem. So when I talk about Immutable X a lot, what I'm referring to is ecosystem. So what I mean by that is NFT traders, NFT collectors, and things like that. And looking forward to the future excitement of IMX itself. I am like bullish on things like the Omi token, obviously, because it's kind of at a low and it's a good time to maybe accumulate DCA. Not financial advice, this is entertainment only, but you get the idea. With Immutable X, I believe they still have a lot of token unlocks, whereas the Omi token does not have token unlocks. Illuvium still has token unlocks, I believe, as well. And they're pretty, it's pretty low. Illuvium, the ILV token, that's a token I'm looking at very closely in terms of long-term, DCAing and things like that as well. But yeah, IMX is definitely one of those ones that it could take some time to have some good DCA points or entries. So that is something I'm paying attention to. But in terms of the ecosystem, when you're buying and selling some of these NFTs, they're going to have definitely that network effect, in my opinion, or that kind of proximity to other projects, like when Tim Bilyeu launches or when Ryan Carson decides to launch, and many others. Obviously, these projects down here, HRO, Illuvium Land Game, when that launches, and many others. So that's good for liquidity and liquidity's sake in the ecosystem of Immutable X. And that's what I'm really trying to get at and hit home when I talk about these news pieces. So, as you see more shift in the gaming space and in blockchain, you're still seeing a lot of X, stock, X banking, X, Web 2, business 1.0 type of people still moving into the blockchain space despite market correction, despite the crypto space being down. So I think this is a good indicator where things are going. And it even says so in one of these kind of like articles. It mentions that. Another crazy piece of news here, or I guess not crazy, but another piece of news which I find pretty cool is Amazon launches a documentary series showcasing NFT impact around the world, which is kind of cool. So I've seen a little about this. It doesn't show too much, but I believe this is called NFT Me. And I guess it talks about AI robots with LiDAR sensors, or maybe that's how they filmed this documentary. Now, if you're big into VV, you know what LiDAR is. It's basically how phones use that technology, or AR, or augmented reality. So if you've ever messed around with VV, you know what augmented reality is very well. And it uses LiDAR sensors to take AR to the next level. So this is kind of cool seeing that they used LiDAR in this documentary along with AI robots. So so sorry about that. I guess OBS was having issues again. I may have to fix that issue on the computer here. But so sorry about. There we go. All right. So yeah, technical difficulties. It happens. We're live. Chaga, what's going on, man? Let's see here. I staked IMX for a while. Okay, I read that one. But yeah, what I was saying to Roland Brown is I agree. I think hardware, once you get that into people's hands, I think that's going to change a lot of people's ideas, minds, and opinions. And when people see this for their own eyes and use cases for AR, I think it's going to change the game. Omi Power, I think once Roblox, etc., comes to the blockchain, things will change forever. Yeah, I just don't know if Roblox... like with what Mark Donovan says, Roblox won't come to blockchain. They have an institutional opposition to it, and primary audience is children. So that's kind of like what I kind of agree with that. I think that Roblox is making hand over fist already. I don't know if they would have too much incentive to come to blockchain unless they decided to build a separate ecosystem and a separate branded NFT experience or marketplace. I could see them maybe doing that like long term. I don't know. Maybe they make their own cosmetics as well. Kind of like how mythical games or blocks. I think it was Blanco's Block Party. They have kind of implemented that kind of strategy really well. So I could see Roblox doing something like that kind of move. But I don't know if they'll just outright come over to the blockchain space just because, right? I think it's still a bit too early for them, but it'll be interesting to see what they'll do long term. Omi Power, do you think Vivi needs someone of that caliber for the Viviverse? No, I mean, Vivi has some of the best brand names in the world, so I don't know how much more you would need, just with their tech stack alone. I think that with Cavernous and it's like engine agnostic, technically, like even let's say Disney did their own experience and they said, okay, well, yeah, of course, Vivi people can come in and port their assets over like the Disney and Marvel IP. That's totally fine into this metaverse because it just makes sense. This is the direction I think Disney's going in anyways, in terms of cosmetics, in terms of what I've seen them roll out. I think long term that they allow these things to happen, especially when we get more like clarity legally and things like that as well. But I think we'll see this play out long term in a very favorable way for Vivi and how it works. So that's what I think about that. Just so you know, Kyle, it's pronounced hero. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I thought I said hero. I just say HRO for short. So I know it's hero. If that's what you're saying about the HRO platform, I like to call it HRO still. I mean, I guess I don't know why. But yeah. Mark Donovan. Oh wait, is that Mark Donovan? Are you from Hero? I can't remember. It's been a while. All right, so sometimes we have people frequent the chat, and sometimes I just forget. So I apologize if you're from the Hero team. Mark Donovan says IMX token unlock last time around, which was the biggest, had a very small amount, which was that was sold, and almost all the major funds held everything. Only sales that were made were over the counter. Yeah, over the counter is one of those ones where, collects, duh. Okay, all right. We power hero. Okay, I see. Yeah, I remember. I was actually one of the first, I was probably the first YouTuber to cover collects in here, and I know I was for hero for sure. I covered collects quite a bit, and I talked about the CS:GO cards or the Counter-Strike cards, and all that good stuff back in the day, last year. Back in the day, it's like last year, but time flies in crypto. So that's really cool. And so you guys are unlocking globally, so that's good to see. I'm very excited about that. I follow Rob Stuff quite a bit, and Waza. I like to watch what they do. I still follow them on Twitter pretty closely. So that's good to know. Yeah, over the counter, that's one thing too. It's good to know though that they, most of the major funds held everything. Yeah, I think they're in it for the long term. I think they see the vision. So that's a good point to kind of counter the narrative of token unlocks is that, these major funds see the future, that what we're covering today is like, why sell now when you're locked in for the future? Like, when these games are yet to launch, it doesn't really make sense to sell tokens at token unlock when, it's clear that Immutable X is going to be in prime position for the next bull run, and you're continuing to see more gaming adoption or more VCs move over into the Web3 like gaming space, for instance. So yeah, a great point. I thought it was very interesting that Jeremy Padower's company Jazzware was purchased by Berkshire Hathaway. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, I mean, that's very good for Jeremy and his company. I think that proves that they're on the right track, and it proves that they are a solid brand and a company. And very exciting for Jeremy. I think they'll continue to disrupt what they're doing. They have Squishmalls, their own original IP. I think Jazzwares continue to do amazing, and we'll see them continue to dominate. So good for him. Very exciting. What's going on there? Medi says, I can't understand why people still invest in OMI tokens. Obviously security. And the NFT part, keep that in mind. That licenses. I don't know how is it a security though? Like, there currently there's no utility to it. So, they did, and I believe they did their ICO like not in the US. So, I don't think I don't think they can even, I think it would literally, it would literally not be deemed a security for many, many reasons. Let's see. IMX capitulating. No, we are just talking about how IMX is going to do. Actually, I haven't even checked the chart here in terms of the price. We can do that if my account loads. Let's see. I was having some issues earlier with it. Let's see. No, it's pretty consistent. I mean, let's see what's happening here. Oh, headline. So we got some reports here. 44 traders lost. So this was maybe Ethereum. All right. So, yeah, it looks like it's just been moving sideways for the past couple weeks, and I think it will probably continue to do that. Bollinger Bands are kind of like tight, though. So maybe we'll see moves, could go down, could go up. Who knows? It's just consolidating. These are hard market macro conditions to predict, right? When you're talking about world economy, recession, basically, these are the things that we have to be aware of in the macro as well. But again, this is something I'm long-term bullish about, especially the ecosystem. Again, going back to all these projects, continuing to build in the bear. And, I'm pretty excited about the long run effect of all these projects. Like, these are some of the most notable projects in the Web3 gaming space. And so we continue to see people like Ryan Carson be onboarded. So that's kind of what we're talking about here in the entire ecosystem. It's going to be a rough year for all tokens over next year. Exactly. So it's not specific to IMX. These are just macro conditions for everything, right? You look at the BTC token here on the chart, same exact pattern, moving sideways, consolidating, and Bollinger Bands kind of tightening back down. It could go lower. We could see Bitcoin at, around 15K again, who knows, here. So we'll continue to monitor Bitcoin and kind of see. I think we're still in for it for the next few months. I don't think we're out of the woods here. I think we'll continue to see tokens kind of slump over the next few months, and then maybe we'll get some kind of recovery. We'll continue to monitor, right? It's play by ear, what the Fed's doing, global economics, you have, conflicts worldwide. So it's something we'll have to continue to look at and see if there's like peaceful resolutions, or if the, macroeconomics line up with everything else, and we'll see these tokens start to move again. But, I'm looking at DCAs and the entries. So I'm looking at clean entries and things like that, including the OMI token as well. It's corrected here, which I predicted. I actually took profits around 0.0009 right here. So I was doing a little bit of trading, and a year yet. Dang, Kobe Collects, my man in the house. Another hero collector right there. He does a lot of pack breaks with Hero, Pokemon, and I think another card company as well. But yeah, it's continuing to slump here. This is kind of what I expected, just with the given the macroeconomics here. So with OMI, we'll continue to monitor that as well. Let's see, but ETH layer 2s are going to be a huge narrative next cycle. I 1000% agree. I think that IMX is going to emerge as possibly the leader in layer 2. I think Polygon is a bit overhyped. Not to say that I don't like Polygon. I think Polygon's doing great things. But when I'm looking at ZK EVMs versus, the regular EVM compatibility, I kind of actually like and prefer the layer 2 side, or layer 2 part of ZK EVMs, which is Ethereum virtual machine, basically compatibility with that, right? And how IMX doesn't have to update every time there's like an Ethereum update. But again, appreciate you, Kobe Collects, for that. 11 straight months, man. thank you so much for being a part of the Red Circle Army. And you're about to collect your Infinity Gauntlet, I think soon, possibly. I don't know. I can't remember all the different. I put the Infinity Gauntlet or stones in order. So the badges that you see on the channel membership is they're in order as the jewel or the gems that Thanos collects in order until you get the Infinity Gauntlet as a member. So just a cool little fun thing for members of the channel here. And people who get 12 months of membership get a free NFT from me as well. So just as a thank you, you get a free NFT. It's a VV Punk actually. And somebody made one for me and they gave me like 250 of them. So you get one VV Punk, Kyle VV Punk, which they burned half of the supply. I own half of it and they burned the other half. So there's only like 250 or less in existence. So those eventually over time will run out. So you do get a free NFT once you hit 12 months on the channel until they run out, and I'll have to figure out something else. Let's see. ETH will be seen as a security. Yeah, that's a hot take. I mean, a lot of people disagree with both of those things, so I'm not sure on that. I think that possibly they could use that as a switch to kind of inject FUD. I think that could be a narrative, but I don't know, because ETH isn't like in direct control, or it's not like a centralized party controlling everything that goes on the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, I think maybe some coins like individually maybe, but I don't think Ethereum will be, because I believe they kind of talked about that before, how it's not a security, or Bitcoin is like a commodity or whatever. Yeah, ETH is a commodity, was even noted that way in the indictment. Yeah, exactly. So you're getting at exactly that, Mark Donovan. I just read that. So I agree with that. So sorry, ETH is not, and BTC. Correct. ETH and BTC are almost certainly commodities. Yep, hit it on the head. It'll come down to how the tokens are launched as to whether they are securities or not. SEC will have to issue guidance. It'll be a bloodbath for all alts when that happens, though, I would assume. Yeah, it'll definitely, people will be kind of hedging, getting maybe into stables, and maybe like watching from the sidelines. So we'll see. Crypto Corey says, just notice IMX has dropped over 95%. I mean, yeah, is it 95%? Let's see here. They were up, I guess they were up quite a bit. But it is flattened out if you look at it long term. This is something I noticed back in like the end of 2018, is when tokens, and really before 2018, is like all the tokens were kind of going flat, and that's when I like to start looking at entries. So I'll still let this play out a little bit longer. I'm going to be watching volume really closely. When volume really starts drying up, that's when I like to enter solid token projects. So we will see. Polygon is going to be a beast. Their biz dev team is second to none. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great teams about their biz dev team, actually. So it sounds like they have a solid crew on the biz dev front. Yeah. Polygon's going to do great for sure. But just little differences in the EVMs and things like that. I'm going to snap my fingers and half my subs will disappear. Yeah. Well, you could use the Infinity Gauntlet to do whatever you want, you know. So maybe you create more subs with a snap. These layer 2 protocols need to be stress tested to see who can handle the volume of transaction loads required to maintain games, metaverses, and other media. Crypto Corey, I absolutely agree with that. I think that Immutable X has done really well at scaling so far. Polygon, has there been massive quantities? I know they have quite a bit of NFTs. I know they're pretty good, pretty solid. So, but yeah, it would be nice to see all the layer 2s, the top ones, be like stress tested once all these games launch, and to see which ones perform really well. So that's going to be definitely interesting to see. Not only that, but on the dev side, right? Like the whole EVM side, the whole like smart contract side. So we'll see what happens. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the next bull run. I'll be back to flex the gauntlet badge. Heck yeah, let's go. 40 from $9. Wow, yeah, that's a huge drop. Sleepy Comics, yo, what's going on, man? Happy to have you in the chat. It was great talking to you in Spaces last night. A lot of insight into the developer world, as a matter of fact. So speaking of devs, Sleeping Comics in the house, for sure. VV Arcade, good morning, y'all. Good morning. GM. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I didn't know VV Arcade. I didn't know he was like an artist. So he came in with that easel and that like painting and at Decon, and I was like blown away. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? This is crazy. Like, I couldn't believe nobody told me that you were an artist. So I thought that was really cool. And it was a pleasure to meet you in person. Mark Donovan says they have multiple ZK teams. Curious how they'll figure out how the tech roadmap there, but I did see they released a forward-looking plan. Just haven't had time to look at it. Interesting. Yeah, definitely let me know about that if you have it. Post it in chat or what have you. Or I'll definitely look it up. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. I would love to see what their roadmap is as well. It's not like a straightforward thing, right? With what they'll do. Or are you talking about Polygon, right? Polygon, I'm assuming. Very interesting. Arcade is the number one artist I want to see on Vivi. Let's go, man. That'd be awesome. Organic, community-driven art. I would definitely like that. I would love to see Vivi do that. I know Vivi's like super curated, but I would still love to see them do and work with community artists, because I do believe we actually had like some really notable artists as well that had the red O in their name at one point in time. I think they still do. I think they're just kind of quiet about it or doing their own thing, you know. So I would love to see some community art for sure. Even there's the crypto crowns, broken crowns as well. Love to see some of those artists on the app for sure. Mark, I'll let you know what we find out more. We're working with their enterprise team. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, Polygon. Okay, sweet. Yeah. Very good to know. Yeah, Polygon's gonna have a nice ecosystem too. It seems like it's gonna be a quite different ecosystem. You're gonna see like in terms of there's like lots of games on Immutable. I wonder if Polygon's gonna be like mostly just collection based, collectible based. Whereas Immutable is going to have kind of a variety and a lot of games on Immutable. So we shall see, definitely, for sure. But yeah, if you want to learn more about Token Trove, I'll drop a link here in the chat that you can check out. As a matter of fact, it's my referral code if you want to check out Token Trove and help support the channel and all that good stuff. A lot of dope artists in the community. Yeah, that's for sure, VV Arcade. Polygon will have large enterprise. Yeah, so they do you like businesses and things like that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think Polygon, Immutable, I think those two are going to be really good. I know there's like a lot of other, layer twos, the Arbitrums, the Avalanches. Oh, Avalanche, I think it's its own blockchain, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think some of them are a little overhyped. I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion. I agree and echo with what Crypto Corey said. I kind of want to see these layer 2s stress tested. And so far, the two that are emerging in my mind is Polygon and Immutable X. Now, Immutable X doesn't get the press coverage that Polygon does. But I think they will long term. I think once we start seeing projects launch, games launch on Immutable X, I think they'll start hopefully getting more of the attention they deserve. But yeah, Polygon's definitely a juggernaut for sure at this point in time. And we'll see if Immutable is able to catch up to that success. But that's all I got for this one. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We'll continue to monitor the macro here on the charts. Again, thanks Kobe Collects for 11 amazing months here on the channel. Much appreciated, fam. And thank you so much, Mark Donovan, Sleeping Comics, VV Arcade, and many others in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you later. Peace.
Cross the road down south, here I go.
NFT flipper, so I got a lot on my mind. If you see me winning, just know that the gang on the grind. In the way that I rhyme, only get better with time. I chop it up, got a hibachi the line. We in the tropics, we sippin' Corona with lime. NFT shopping, I'm sweeping the floor when I'm high. Whoa, away we go.